Hey everyone, welcome back to a new Wizard101 video. This is one I wanted to make for a little while, but I just didn't get around to it because this was the Feedback Friday, and it was, what, 2 Fridays ago now? Because I think there was one, we had the Horde Pack question, and then the week before that was the Legendary Weapons question. So that kind of got me thinking about this, and I wanted to make a video on it sooner, but it just didn't happen because I've been a little busy with school and stuff. But here we are, legendary weapons, and these are the ones that you can craft from Ignis, who's the fire scholar in the Arcanum. And I have crafted both of the legendary weapons. I should say legendary weapons in like quotations, because I mean they're legendary, but they're not really that legendary for what the stats give. But I've crafted both those on my Storm and my Life Wizard. If you guys have seen his energy gear, I just use that weapon as a Stitch because I think it looks good, and there's a few of them that look good, so let's just go ahead and take a look at some of them. But then I also have it on my Storm Wizard. I even have it stitched to a wand because I don't think the Storm one looks that good, and I used it in the past, but then they came out with a new Horde pack that had a better thing. So let's start with just all the other schools that I haven't really looked at. Basically, these legendary weapons give Pierce, some critical, high damage. That's like the main thing. I mean, 20% damage for fire. That's still really good. This is still a decent weapon for fire to use, and I'm sure people use this all the time because it's good. But the other schools, maybe you would use it for damage, but I don't really know like the gear, the high level gear for other schools, and if this would be worth it. But basically Pierce, some crit damage, and then the pip conversion, which is, you know, whatever. That's not really that important. But let's just look at these before we look at Storm. So it kind of just varies. Seems like it's 4% Pierce, 3% for Ice, plus 25 critical, and some damage there. So for the Storm one though, they gave the most damage to Fire at 20%. The next highest was Storm at 18%. So people have been wondering why Fire has been getting higher percent damage, and I don't really know the answer to that question. I don't know if it's been answered anywhere, but Fire has been getting a little higher damage in the last few pieces of gear that we've seen. I think it's the same for the Horde pack weapons, but 20% for Fire, 18% for Storm. And Storm gets 50 crit, so I guess Storm gets more crit, right? So is that a trade-off for 2% damage? Probably not. But actually Storm gets 6% Pierce too, so I don't know. But comparing this to the Headmaster's Sky Staff, which is the Professor's Horde Pack wand for Storm. Now, when I saw this Feedback Friday tweet go out, I responded saying that they asked like how they would make these legendary weapons better, and I responded saying that they probably shouldn't just have them be replaced by a pack wand. And a lot of people agreed with that. It's not 100% just replacement, but it's basically replacement, because the main thing, at least it's replacement for what I go for. The main thing that is the difference is the Pierce. If you want 6% Pierce, you would use the legendary sword. If you don't care about that and you want crit, same damage, and even the Maycast, then you would use the other one. For me, I like high crit, and this has basically the highest damage of any weapon, so that's why I use it. But it's not a direct trade-off, but I guess for PvP you'd probably use the Pierce one if you want high damage. So, but yeah, these are the legendary weapons. These are what you can craft. I was looking through the comments on the Feedback Friday, and a lot of people said that they didn't even craft it, and I can understand that. You know, some people would only craft this just for the Stitch. I crafted this basically for the Stitch because I think this wand looks really nice. Maybe some people would craft the Ice one. That looks also pretty nice. The other ones, they're okay. I don't think they look that good. I mean, this one, the Fire one, is decent. Baba Yaga, and then of course the Storm Sword. So those are legendary weapons, and I was thinking about this, how could they change these to make these actually better? And the one thing that I kept going back to was comparing it to the Shadow Forged weapons. We have the Shadow Forged weapons from Chrysalis, and these are pretty unique weapons, and I don't know, in a way it feels like they could have taken that further. They're Shadow Forged, the text is different. I don't have any Shadow Forged on this character, but I could go over to Chrysalis and look, or at least put it up on the screen what the one of them looks like. One of them is Root of Spring, and people actually use this because it has a Maycast Rebirth, which is pretty good. And the text is also different to kind of signify that it's Shadow Forge, like the text color. So these ones really pop out to me, saying that, you know, they're a different tier of weapon, and they have some unique Maycast on there, like Maycast Rebirth, and they have some other ones too. I kind of forgot what they are at this point, but some unique weapons there. And I feel like legendary weapons should have been like the same way. They should have been like super unique, not similar to wands that we just see in a pack. Because for my Storm, which is the character that I'm, you know, I care most about, like the offensive gear, for this one it's just instantly replaced. And to take it a step further, I would like the legendary weapons to have a different text color. I know that's kind of like a simple change, but a simple like text color change, making it look different, because all the gear in the game basically has the same color, like the same kind of blue, like light blue type of text color. And if they changed that, it would signify like this is a legendary weapon. I mean, I know a lot of games have legendary be like orange, like an orange color, a yellow color, something like that. And they could do something like that. They could change the color. The other thing is make it so that the legendary weapons are not just crafted. Make it so that maybe you could have it be craftable, but then you have to like work towards like upgrading it, or have like a actual quest line. Like think about this. What if there was a quest line that was fairly difficult? It was solo because it's your legendary weapon that you had to do in order to receive this weapon. And you would get the weapon, and then of course you have to make the stats, you know, a little better than other things. I do prefer having to either farm for gear rather than just get it from a pack. And that's like one thing that I feel like the game has been kind of switching towards after Darkmoor, was just like, okay, all the gear now, I mean not all of it, but a lot of the gear is just like pack gear, especially wands. Wands have always been that way, and if they change that now, I would be happy with it, because farming for gear is it's a struggle for some people. And I mean, I've had struggle farming for some gear before, but it feels like it's more of an accomplishment farming for gear than getting it from a pack. So I kind of wish that they would stick with the more cosmetic stuff for the purchasable like crowns, packs and stuff. But this is the direction that they have it. A lot of wands are locked up in the packs. You have to try to get them. Professor's Horde pack was good though, because you would get a piece of gear every time from that. So I feel like this is one of the better packs that they created. But I don't know, I want it to feel like it's more of an accomplishment when you get it, because you're working towards it. If there was something like that you had to do after you got the weapon in order to upgrade it, I don't know if they're ever going to incorporate like weapon enchants or something like that, like enchantable stuff. But if they do that, that could be an option too. But I feel like that's a whole new system that they would have to incorporate. But yeah, making it more legendary, making it have higher stats, making you have to work towards it rather than getting the gear just from a pack. Basically getting lucky, or either getting lucky or spending a lot on it. That's like basically how you get this gear right now. So if they could change that, if they could make it so that you had to work towards it, I could, you know, get behind that a lot more, because it makes you work towards it rather than just having to pay and get it. So, but I wanted to wrap up this video, I wanted to look at my gear and just kind of see how much of the gear I use on my Storm is gear that's just from packs and stuff, and how much of it I had to farm for. So Dragon's Talon, farmed for that. Headmaster's Sky Staff, this is from the pack. Not Headmaster's, Professor's Sword pack. So that one's just from a pack. This one, this is probably one of the most, you know, farmed for gear, was the Morganth amulets. So I did like the Morganth amulets. I know some people, you know, it's a struggle to get, and there's a chest there too, but using the chest is not as bad as having to spend a lot on packs, because packs are more expensive. And at least with the chest, you can do it every day. They reset, you can come back and do it, you know. So those are farmable. You know, Darkmoor gear, obviously that was the main thing to farm for, and it still kind of is, because this gear is still good. I use the Malister robe, Malister hat all the time. So now that has a chest, but it used to be to farm for this, and you did Darkmoor so many times in order to try to get this stuff. But yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll see another Darkmoor, you know, the next tier of dungeon to get gear from that at some point, because we're getting to level, this is level 100, we are getting close to level 130, which is, you know, 30 levels after Darkmoor. That's a lot. I think we're due something. We're due something at that point if the level cap goes up to 130. Night Orb's Ring, this is farmable, and I use it for damage. Now Rasputin farmable, but it also has a chest, so Night Orb did not have a chest. And then these boots are the boots from the Shadow Walk. These were difficult to get. But you feel accomplished once you get that, right? Because you're farming for it, you're not just like spamming a chest for it, or you're not just, getting it from a pack. So I did like these, the crit and damage boots that they had Mirage. And then, of course, pets are a lot of time, but they're also a lot of crowns too. So pets are kind of both. Which is why people feel so accomplished when they finish their pets, because it's a lot of hard work getting that. And you can do it without spending a lot of crowns, but it just takes more time. I mean, it's just a time thing. So would you rather spend crowns, or would you rather spend time on something, or both? For the hardest things like pets, sometimes you have to spend both. But that's just something I want to throw out there with the legendary weapons. And at some point in the future, we could have legendary other pieces of gear, legendary rings, legendary amulets. Like, how awesome would that be if you see someone in the game and they have a legendary piece of gear, and you know it's legendary because they have a different, like, font, or not font, but like different text colors, so that as soon as you look at the person's gear, you see that and you're like, wow, they have a legendary piece of gear. They must have worked hard to get that, because they should make it so that it's hard to get, so that only high level, it shouldn't be really only be for the high level wizards. They could have legendary gear for like certain levels, like maybe level 50, level 100, I don't know. But that's something that they're gonna have to figure out for themselves. But just some ideas I want to throw out there, because I think it would really make it worth going for some of that if they had really good stats on it too. And they could even separate it for PvP and PvE. Who knows? But that is going to do it for this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, just talking about what I think of that Feedback Friday. And there's some good ideas in there. And I feel like if they incorporated some of those, it'd be a lot more fun for people to get some of this gear and really work towards it. But that's what I think about all that. So let me know what you guys think as well in the comments. Leave a like if you guys have enjoyed this. KL Live is today. Maybe you already watched it when KL Live was done. So tomorrow's video is going to be talking about that. See if they have any kind of teasers or anything for us. I don't know yet, but we'll see. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.